So, the name Steve McQueen is known to some and not known to some. Of course, everyone knows him in The Great Escape, and even Rick Harrison on Pawn Stars was quoted as saying his son said, "Dad, you have a man crush on Steve McQueen." He's like, "I do not have a man crush on Steve McQueen," when he was purchasing a poster for the movie Bullet. I think that in Papillon, this is where his more acting side comes out. They called him Papillon, meaning butterfly. If only he had wings to go with the name. Unable to fly, Heinrich Charret virtually willed himself free. He persisted until he did the impossible, escape Devil's Island. Based on Charret's bestseller and shot in Spain and Jamaica, Jamaican Me Crazy, Franklin J. Schaeffer's film of Papillon united two stars at key career junctures. After a decade of fine work in The Great Escape, The Sand Pebbles, and Bullet, Bullitt, Steve McQueen found in Charret another ideal tough guy role. Coming off The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, and Little Big Man, Dustin Hoffman again distinguished himself as Daga, Charret's scruffy friend. Now, the Escape, as we all know with The Great Escape, it was about British soldiers that were escaping from a German POW camp via three tunnels, Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I have seen it. It is a legendary movie, but I think that Papillon, in my opinion, is underrated. It's got an escape from a prison, and it's like there's no motorcycle stunts in here, but there's cars and boats, so I guess technically that kind of counts. 2.5 hours. This movie is definitely, it's the epic sense of the word. It's a character-based movie. It's like, yeah, you still have the visuals, you still have the locales, but it's not like this grand overarching story. It's like, yes, there is still the overarching story because it is based off of the autobiography that Henry, French for Henry, of course, wrote, and they adapted it really well. I must say, I haven't read the original one, but I think, honestly, I just kind of like this one just a little bit more than The Great Escape. I just think this is where, I just like how it's more personal. It's like Steve here actually acts. We get to see him when he's crawling around because has, what was that, solitary confinement. We have to actually see him be like, eating bugs and trying to just survive. It's like when you're in total isolation, your periphery, or you slowly start to go because it's in total darkness. You have limited space and stuff like that, and so we actually get with him being on solo time. He's not acting like a cool suave guy. It's like how in the 1980s you had Tom Cruise, who was like the actor extraordinaire. Well, that's what McQueen was in the 1960s and 70s. The cool guy, tough guy, like how James Dean was in the 50s. So it's amazing how that happens. It's like he was the definition of cool. Let's also get him to act. Let's also get him to portray an Invictus will, line for unconquerable. Let's get him to show that and actually have a good sense of acting, in the sense of being able to make this character come alive, and he does really dang well. It's like, I thought it was great. I think that, particularly when he's in the solitary confinement, when he's interacting with Dustin Hoffman, and, when he's on an island with the natives, it's like he's interacting with them, and you can see him starting to become accustomed to the way of life and repenting, and just his unbreakable spirit. That's what, in my opinion, in this one makes him actually really gosh darn amazing. And Dustin Hoffman, he's a truly incredible actor. For crying out loud, he's in, it's like, obviously I've seen The Graduate, especially when he's coming out in the wetsuit and feeling weighted down in the pool, and then Kramer versus Kramer. Review coming within time. I just think that, he provides a little bit more of a sensitive side, the more, how do I say it? More, yeah, it's a foil, that's the word, to the more masculine, rugged side that McQueen provides, wearing the glasses and things like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's still there. It's like it's like those two work really well off of each other. Hoffman, yeah, Dustin Hoffman has saying, it's like, we developed a friendly rivalry. It's like, because, it's like sometimes, McQueen would want, like, top billing and things like that. And, would often argue about, like, who would be on top and who would be want that. It's like, it's kind of here, I guess, but because you have a character who's doing the same thing at the same time, it's like, yeah. Although many consider this to be McQueen's best performance, he was overlooked at the Academy. Some say it was because McQueen has stolen Ally McGraw, who became his second wife from her husband Robert Evans, who was a powerful studio executive at the time. McQueen was also rumored to supplement many other Hollywood lives. Others say McQueen's Oscar film was because the actor, in rather coarse language, once told the Golden Globes community he did accept the award if he won, but never considered going to the Academy. However, he would receive a Golden Globe Best Actor nomination. There's also widespread complaints that McQueen was much too old to play Heinrich Charret, who was only supposed to be 25 in the first hour. And what was that? Here we go. McQueen and Hoffman did have some difficulties despite their determination to behave professionally toward each other. When Hoffman began one speech at breakneck speed, McQueen stopped him and said, "Less, man, less. Toss that stuff out. You don't need it. Keep it simple." Another time, Hoffman invited a few close friends to watch the day's filming. McQueen had them thrown off the set. Nevertheless, Hoffman called their relationship friendly rivalry and later said his co-star was a wonderful guy. Off screen, he was the nicest, classiest man. On set, it was when he became very intense. Another time, however, he referred to McQueen as that son of a biatch. So, and here's something kind of funny. The crew took advantage of the abundant marijuana that was readily available in Jamaica. Not content to merely smoke it, they boiled it down to mixing drinks at a party. Several people got sick from that, particularly Franklin J. Schaffner's, causing a day's delay in shooting. So, yeah, stand-up scenes, of course, is of course in the solitary confinement when he's acting, and during the multiple escapes, those are freaking great, especially when the company is escaping from a concert that's going on. It's like, just they had to subdue several guards, climb over a wall, and make their way towards a ship that they ultimately see that is got a hole in it. I forgot it's not buoyant. That's it. There's another word for it. Derelict. That's it. And so ultimately the locals and they manage to escape, and towards the end, we get these beautiful island sets. We get some natives, and eventually, it's like he has to complete 5 years of solitary for his escape. But this really does ultimately make this a very powerful movie, in the sense of, it's just, you just look at it and you feel like this is what filmmaking was. It's like, without the CG, without all the colors and spandex, it's like they're wearing burlap sacks because Devil's Island was a very hot island, pretty much like Alcatraz for the French, and it was just so absolutely intense where they went, and I guess it just lays to the atmosphere that's just being in the jungle and everything, and you're just like, dang, because this feels like a masculine movie, even though it's rated PG. Just the amount of really, with language and the nipples being displayed, it's like PG-13, but at the same, it feels natural and feels like it's an epic movie. It is an epic movie. Like I said earlier, it's, with this being a character-driven one, it's fantastic. Ooh, screenplay by Dalton Trumbo. Here's an interesting part. Dalton Trumbo was a member of the screenwriters of the 1950s. This was featured in the movie Trumbo, where he got blacklisted because supposedly he sympathized with during the Red Scare of the 1950s. But what goes around comes around. So he was written, but he did it. But he couldn't have his name on there, so it was ultimately he did have like a cameo as like a member of one of the guards or whatever. So make of that what you will. But yeah, definitely a fantastic movie. I guess maybe some of it felt a little dramatized, especially when they were on the islands, and maybe Devil's Island was maybe exaggerated a little bit. So it's like obviously with all the Great Escape comparisons, this one feels like it's underrated and needs more attention, and just a little bit more attention. Because on the IMDb, it's like 139,000 people have rated it, but obviously The Great Escape has more, so it's like, I don't know. Hey, give it what you will. Determine which one's best. I'll get to The Great Escape when I can, but I highly recommend that you watch Papillon. Oh, and Papillon, of course, is actually the tattoo that Heinrich has, a butterfly. There's also a dog breed that it looks kind of similar to a butterfly, so yeah. Papillon, highly recommended.